everyone, Tiffany here from Tiffany Gordon Cosplay, and on this week's episode of Tips videos, we are going to be going over how I made my Star Guardian Neeko Wig from League of Legends. First, I got images of Neeko's wig from League of Legends. I then got a base white wig from epiccosplay.com. Next, I placed the wig on top of a wig head and sectioned off the bottom half of the wig and the top half of the wig hair. I first started from the bottom left and worked my way up, airbrush painting at the base roots purple. Don't forget about airbrush painting the underside as well. While the airbrush paint is still wet, comb through the hair to help blend the paint down. Then repeat this process one weft at a time until you reach the very top weft. For the top weft, block off the top section of the wig to prevent purple airbrush paint from reaching it, and continue to airbrush paint. Now to airbrush paint blue. Starting again at the very bottom weft, airbrush paint starting at the purple, halfway down the hair, painting blue. Again, don't forget about the underside. And also for the blue color, make sure to block off behind painting so that way the rest of the hair does not turn blue. Again, comb through the hair. Repeat this process working one weft at a time from the bottom all the way to the top. Do this until all bottom sections are painted blue. Back to the bottom weft. Now we're going to airbrush paint green from the end of the blue all the way to the bottom of the hair. For this process, I used a cardboard box to help prevent green from going to any other areas that I didn't want that color. And this also helps to ensure full hair coverage being colored green. And comb again. Repeat this process, working one weft at a time from the bottom to the top. By this point, all of the bottom section's hair should be painted. Next, put all the colored hair in a bag and tape off at the base wefts to prevent the next color from getting onto it. Then release all the hair from the top section and comb through thoroughly. Again, starting at the very bottom weft, airbrush paint a pink-red color at the base roots on both sides. And once again, comb through the hair. Repeat this process from the bottom wefts to the top, saving the bangs for the very last part. Because this is a lace front wig, the bangs are not put on wefts, rather are sewn into the cap. And for this process, it was a lot easier to start from one side of the bangs working to the next. Do this until all the roots are covered. Again, starting from the bottom weft, airbrush paint orange on both sides. Repeat this process until the rest of the hair is colored orange, and don't forget to comb the hair as you go. Once all the airbrush paint has dried on the hair, release all hair down and then comb through. Next, using hair clips, separate the hair into two sections for the bangs, 4 top points, and then 2 bottom points. To make the bone structure of each hair point, I used a cloth stem wire and I bent it into the shape of the hair points and created a cross section to hold the shape in place. Next, I applied hot glue to the ends of the wires and also to the cross section to hold all the pieces in place, and also to make sure the wire doesn't get caught in the hair. Working on one hair point at a time, I then hot glued the wire to the base of the wig. I then started off by applying hot glue to the top section of the wire and attached a small amount of hair. Then I repeated this for the bottom wire. Using a hair clip to hold in place, I then applied Got2b hairspray and slowly added hair. I continued this process until all sectioned off hair is in the shape that I wanted. Next, I cut off the extra hair with scissors. Then I used thinning shears at the end of the hair to help make it not look so stiff. I then very lightly used a comb on the top layer of the hair to help smooth out, and followed that by more hairspray. I repeated this process until all of the top points were done. Next was the bottom points. I first released all of the hair down and then trimmed it to be around shoulder length. I then used thinning shears to thin out the bottom hair, and hairsprayed each bottom point and held in place with my hand to give a loose shape. To help lock the points in place even more, I sprayed hairspray and then applied heat with a hairdryer. Do be aware though that by applying high heat producing elements such as a straightener, a curling iron, or a hairdryer will cause the airbrush paint to lightly come off and look less intense in color. Use the lowest temperature possible if you must apply heat to your hair. Now that all the points were done, I then released one side of the bangs and sectioned off a very small amount so that way I could make my hair S shape. I then trimmed the hair and I clipped it in place in an S shape and followed up with hairspray. I repeated this for both sides of the wig. To ensure that the S-shaped hair did not move, I did apply a small little dot of hot glue underneath so that way it would stick in place. Next, I released both sides of the bangs, and starting from the back section of the bangs working forward, I applied a heavy amount of hairspray to the roots. Then, while holding the hair at a 45-degree angle towards the back, I applied heat with a hairdryer to lock it in place. Repeat this process working forward until all the bangs are covered. Next, I applied hair clips to the base of the wigs to hold in place. And again, applied a lot of hairspray, as well as more heat from a hairdryer. For the front part of the bangs, I removed the hair clips and applied hairspray to the entire bangs, and then used a hairdryer facing upward to make a slight curvature at the bottom of the hair, and this helped to lock it in place. I repeated this for the other side, and then my Neeko wig was done. And that is how I made my Star Guardian Neeko wig from League of Legends. Thanks for watching this week's tips video on how I made my Star Guardian Neeko wig from League of Legends. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe. Love ya!